Good morning, comrades! Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the Nürburgring, and welcome to a Q&A video, something that we don't do often. I think last time was over a year ago, because I usually just answer your questions directly in the comments below, or we make a summit video together with Robert. But this time I was thinking like, hey, you know what? I asked you on YouTube in the community tab section, like, hey, do you have something you want to ask me, something personal, which is not directly related to Apex or Nürburgring or whatever? Just ask me. And right now it's 4 a.m. in the morning, after that even, and I was thinking like, you know what, it's time to answer some of those questions. So as always, topics in the video description and also timeline division, timestamp, so feel free to jump to whichever question you find interesting. So let's get started. First of all, personal, that's dangerous. Do you have a girlfriend again? No, I don't. Simple as that. And related to that, also there was a question, let me see, what was it? When are you and Dyana getting married and doing little Mishas? Well, as you could have guessed from the previous answer, we have not been together since I think 2 years by now, but as you could have seen in some recent videos, we're very good friends again, which is I think very pleasant for the team and for everyone else involved, and also for ourselves also in the first place. So we're good friends, nothing more, nothing less. And Robert says, no question, just glad you're promoting Tier 1. And another question, do you have plans once the relationship with Robert inevitably breaks down? To clarify, I'm anticipating that it'll break down first on his end. Why? So first of all, why? But second of all, I think Robert is one of the most patient people I know. As mentioned previously, Dyana and I are not together. I'm not going to deny that when we broke up, we were like the most unpleasant people to be around, because as any people that break up, you just like be very unpleasant. Simple as that. I also crashed some cars. I did lots of more other shit that you people don't know and haven't seen. So, very good question. I wonder when he's going to break down. So far, it's been very patient. So, but again, as mentioned, a bit of weird stuff. So, what to do when you see someone crashing? I see lots of controversy in YouTube comments about parking in front or behind the crash to warn incoming traffic. Well, what you say it is correct. According to German law, if you see a crash, you need to report it, and if possible, if the situation allows it to, you need to stop and help out. So at least you should call the marshal office, emergency number right here, and say like, hey, there's been a crash at the marshal post, this and that, people are not injured, everything is fine or not fine, or close the track or send out yellow flags. So this is the least what you can do. If you are like a local person or experienced, then this question is actually not related to you, because everyone who is local and is driving the track often, they usually have yellow flags on them, and they do stop and they warn the traffic, etc. But yeah, if you know what to do, and that's basically get over the barrier yourself, and if you have the opportunity to stop safely and warn the oncoming traffic, this will be appreciated a lot. So just a guideline. I'm super interested in the rules about building street legal track cars in Germany. I'm from Austria but live in Switzerland, and you can't do anything here. It's a joke. Actually, there have been multiple questions that are related to that, to building a track car, or in particular to TÜV. This means that all the modifications in Germany that you do to your car need to be in the papers. Now, how do you do that? So either that particular part has been approved by TÜV in advance, so the exhaust manufacturer has gone to TÜV and made sure that it's noise compliant, emissions compliant, and it's also like not made out of crap. They do all the stress testing, make sure that it's durable. When it comes to suspension, the same thing, that it's durable and it's like the right height is not altered too much, or that is basically safe. Like all the components go through like extensive testing, and this makes car parts in Germany, like, of course, quality-wise very good, but also more expensive, because the manufacturer of those parts need to pay for all those testing. So what I'm referring to, quite often people say like, oh my god, why did you pay 5,000 euro for a suspension? Because I can get from Alibaba 100 euro suspension. Like, yeah, well, there's a difference in quality first of all, but there's also a difference in reasoning why this part is so much more expensive. But anyhow, long story short, You need to make sure that your parts are approved. So it could be that the part has been approved beforehand, or it does not have approval yet, but you can have you can still put it in your paper. So you go to a TUV center, you say like, hey, I put these brakes on it, so the TÜV guy is gonna drive your car, or put it on a brake bench and then put it in it. But then it usually still costs another like 250 or 400 euro, depends on your TÜV guy, of course. It costs extra money, so it is financially, to modify cars, it is more expensive than it would be somewhere else, like for example in Netherlands, where they just simply don't care. But then again, it would be easier and possible than it would be in Switzerland, in Austria, or Belgium. It's an absolute no-go, or other country. So I think that kind of answers your question, I hope, at 4 a.m. in the morning. So let's move on to something else. How did you meet Shmee, Tim? At Spring Event 2015. Yeah, it was an event. We met there, and ever since we are very good friends. Here's a nice one. What got you into being a YouTuber? Well, there are two answers to that question. First of all, my first experience with YouTube was in 2014 when we went to Billsport. It's like a car expo in Sweden, and I was asked to be a host for a YouTube channel, and we came up with a character named Boosted Boris. Ever since, it kind of it was well received, and I decided to continue with it. But to be me as a YouTuber, it was actually Casey Neistat. I saw it, and I saw like, okay, the vlogs, and I saw how it could be cool, and I was thinking like, okay, if a Boosted Boris is a kind of comedy, also offensive, very offensive, and it's something that I was putting a lot of thinking into by creating some scenarios at some point, thinking about cars. It was not something that I could just grab my phone and film me like, hey, good morning, comrades, today we are eating a baguette, and tomorrow we are eating foie gras. Getting very French here, weird. But no, I saw that the attractiveness of the vlogs from Casey Neistat, although mine are not that highly produced. I also did some more investigation, some research. Anyhow, that's how I got into it. And 2016 I started shooting them. End of 16 I started publishing them, and 17 we started Apex, and ever since we never stopped. Before you, Robert, kicked it off, what was your plan B after ring garage? If not an appropriate question, feel free to delete. No, it is an appropriate question. So, as mentioned here, and for the new audience, in 2017, Robert and I started Apex. Before that, I was working for another company for 2 years, and in 2016, things went absolutely downhill. You can probably watch the video. There are some videos. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but I already left the company before we started Apex. And when I announced that, some offers came in, some interesting offers, but first of all, even before that, obviously before you make a decision of quitting a company, it is good to thinking like, what are you going to do? And I knew like, okay, I definitely want to stay at the Nürburgring. I want to continue doing videos. I don't really need an attachment to any company, but it makes, of course, life easier, as now you have all the access to content. It's good to have some sort of home base, some focus. So I had some ideas to maybe approach a race team, asking to do their social media or etc. So there were many plan Bs, but it would always be the Nürburgring. When I actually announced my departure from the previous company, I received an offer from someone who was going to start a company, and that company ended up being Ring Freaks. But I told them like, I love your concept, I love your idea, and it would be cool, but I'm already talking to Robert. And if that's not going to work out, then you're my next choice. But since he was first one, and eventually, long story short, you know where we are right now, so it worked out. But that's just like a fun little detail, I think, for people that who knows where things might have been otherwise. There's a question about my career path. Well, it's going to be a pretty long video of its own, but as a matter of fact, I already made this video back in 2017, so I'm going to link it up in the video description or up here or here somewhere, so you can watch it, and otherwise I'll be happy to make it again. Let's move on. Do you have any hobbies? There was a question about, what are your hobbies when you got some free time? Something like bowling, darts, gaming, collecting stamps. Unfortunately, I don't have much free time because a lot of time goes into making videos on YouTube. Of course, I could get an editor, and we tried that before, but it just increases workflow. And let's say I am currently very happy where I am right now, and also right now currently 4:30, even no, 5:30, and even beyond that, I'm still happy making videos. But I do enjoy gaming. I do enjoy lying on the beach and doing nothing. Is something I learned last year when I was working at Rimac. I would say I'm a pretty open-minded person. I like to do new experiences whenever I get the opportunity or chance, but usually just Nürburgring laps. I'm not disliking it, so there's that. Okay, last question. I'm just going to scroll through it and then pick something. What's the score with you and Dyana? Well, we already answered that, so let's scroll again. Do you like Ford Taurus SHO from 210? I don't know. Last attempt. Okay, well, there is something in, I don't know, whatever that means. But whatever, but the one above is, what was your first car? My first car was a Subaru Impreza GC8 that eventually I modified, and then I modified it too much, and then I bought another body for it to put all those parts on it to make it a time attack car, and that was my first race car. 705 horsepower Impreza, 864 newton meters of torque. The body is still existing, which is in Netherlands. The engine went to Slovakia. I don't know if it has been built already because that was like already 6 years ago. Need to find out. But yeah, that was my first car that led into it. So maybe you want to know a story about that, and we will tell more about it. But now I'm gonna go to bed because it's pretty late. So hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. I'm sorry, a bit of rambling, but that's sometimes that we can do, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to have more Q&As, let me know in the video description. For now, goodbye, good night. Looking forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video, and I don't even know what it's going to be. Bye.